What is up, ladies and gentlemen, all my subscribers and watchers? This is Phil the Kaiju King here from my collection room in Greater Cincinnati, and in this video I'm going to take a look at this fantastic figure. This is the X Plus Gigantic Series Godzilla 2001, or affectionately known as GMK. This is the RIC edition. The translucent blue dorsal plates, really cool tail stand, and really cool RIC extra. I'll get into those momentarily. I got this thing in June 2017 from a member of the X Plus group. I wanted to thank again Matt Parmalee for the very smooth transaction. He's a local guy close to me, and I met up with him. It was actually on a Saturday, and I took my lunch break and went and picked this thing up. I think he actually met me somewhere. We met up somewhere close to my work. He may have even came to my work. I can't remember. But we met up, and he drove it to me and picked it up, and he gave it to me for a pretty good, fair price, I think. And this was my second gigantic I added to my collection. My first was the Burning Godzilla. This is the second I added, but this is an awesome rendition of GMK, of course. Oh my GMK, you evil bastard. Pardon my language, but that's what he is, an evil rendition of Godzilla. The most craziest scene for me in the movie is when he's plundering through when he first arrives, and he's plundering through the city, and the little girl's in the hospital, and she's getting really scared, and it's shaking. It's like it's an earthquake every step he takes, and it's like he walks by, and she like shows a sense of relief, and then all of a sudden his tail comes through and bam, destroys the hospital. And I'm sure she didn't make it, but that's just GMK to me. That's how evil he was and sinister he was. And of course GMK is a representation of the tormented Japanese soldiers from the war and stuff. It's what he's supposed to be, like a representation of their souls and the torment they went through and all that. Something along that line, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a really wicked Godzilla movie. It's my favorite of the Millennium era, followed closely by 02 and 03. So 01, 02, and 03 are my favorite of the Millennium. This is my favorite, though, if I was to pick one, GMK. Then the two Mechagodzilla or Kiryu movies I like those too. But this movie is a really good movie. It is a perennial favorite amongst Godzilla fans for the Millennium era and overall, really. And this Godzilla is so evil and so wicked looking and so menacing and so just what an evil looking Godzilla. For me, it's all about his eyes, as far as that goes. But I do love that film. It's a great movie. It's nicely done. Nice storyline and everything in it about the Guardian monsters. And what's really weird about that is King Ghidorah is actually a good guy in the film. He's one of the Guardian monsters, along with Baragon and Mothra, of course. And they all really have a hell of a time with GMK. He basically kills them all, and then their essences combine and resurrect with Baragon and Mothra's like essence or soul combine with King Ghidorah and reanimate him, and he comes back to life and manages to quell Godzilla with the help also of the Japanese military. It's a really good film. If you haven't seen GMK means Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, All Out Monsters Attack. That's the actual official title of the movie. Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, All Out Monsters Attack, I believe. It's a really long title, so everybody affectionately knows it as GMK. But it's a really good movie from Toho, one of the best, really. And this figure is really great addition to the X Plus line, especially the gigantic series. And like I said, it was the second one I ever got. Like I said, thanks again, Matt Parmalee, for the great transaction. I also got a couple other at least figures from him. I know one was the 1971 25 centimeter Godzilla. He had it on pre-order and he decided he was going to sell it. I do believe I picked this up from him as well. He's a good guy, quality guy. If you ever see him selling figures, I would recommend him. He's a top-notch person to buy anything from. If you ever see that he's selling a figure, I would say buy with confidence for sure. As far as this figure goes, this GMK, it's nicely done. We'll start off with the tail stand. Now this here is how the X Plus should do a tail stand. Now mine, somehow it's gotten chipped on the front here because this is like polystone. It's not vinyl. At least it doesn't feel vinyl to me. But it's really nicely done tail stand. It's like rubble and debris piled up and his tail just lays right in there. But as you can see, mine stands fine without the tail stand really. He's like perfectly balanced really. It's pretty awesome because it makes him look even more intimidating to me if he don't have to have the tail stand. Usually I set him up on my shelf and I don't have the tail stand under his tail. If he happens to lean back, then he'll only go like an inch, couple inches, and he'll hit the base of my shelf. So but he's never done that. He sets just like this on the stand on the shelf, and I always have this back there with him, but I usually don't even have his tail on it. But it's nicely done. It has depiction of debris and like a crumbled building there. This is the way you should do tail stands, X Plus. I'm just saying, my opinion. This is really cool. And then the RIC extra for this, one of them anyway, is this little rocky base with the ship watercraft that the military guy drilled through GMK and pierced him. That is the little ship he was traveling in the ocean with on this rock base. Very nicely done. Nice details on the rock formation and everything. At the front of the base of this rock has the movie logo and everything in Japanese. It's really nicely done little RIC extra. This is what people talk about when they don't really want light ups. When you give them something cool like this, of course you would want something like this. I do like some of the light ups though, I ain't gonna lie. There's been a few I really thought were cool, so but this stuff like this is really hard to deny that it's awesome. But that is a nice little extra. And then also part of it being the RIC, it has the blue translucent dorsal plates on this dorsal fins there. Nicely done. As far as this figure, his tail pretty much almost goes straight back from him with an up curve. But it, like I said, it doesn't touch. It's got the tail stand, but mine stands perfectly like this as it is. But it goes almost straight back with an up curve and then back down. But it's nicely done, nice and long. His length is impressive. He's not super tall in the gigantic line, but he is definitely lengthwise an imposing figure on the shelf. But the dorsal plates start back here on his tail. Of course, they're very small. And they get larger as they get to the base, of course, and they're the translucent blue. They look nice. I can see with my lights, you can see light emanating through them. It's really nice. The sculpting of the tree bark skin on the tail and the definition of that, really nicely done by X Plus on this figure. Then we get to the actual dorsal plates on the back, which actually on this figure there are 5 rows, 3 really big rows of dorsal plates on the back, and then 2 really small outer rows on the very extreme outside, and it even leads up to the top of his head here. We will see little tiny digit rows of dorsal plates. These all lead back to the rows of dorsal plates on his back. If you follow them, it's pretty cool. But the dorsal plates are nicely done. Like I said, they're translucent light blue vinyl emanating, or portraying him about to release his atomic breath. They are nicely done. The inners of them are the darkish black, darkish gray to black, really, with the dotted texture on the dorsal plate is nicely done. They capture it really well, and like I said, the light really emanates through them, with them being the translucent vinyl. Of course, the tree bark skin, very nicely sculpted on this figure. Nicely done on the legs. Very, very nice sculpting of that definition and detail for that tree bark skin. Of course, through the legs and the thighs, he is kind of a chunky Godzilla, of course. GMK was that in that area. He's got some girth there for sure, and this figure shows that for sure. I do feel this figure does have some stylized characteristics to it, but every X Plus figure I've ever seen that I consider stylized, it's not a bad thing, it's a good thing. So he does feel like he has a very stylized feel to me, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's really, really cool. It's nicely done. Like I said, the tree bark skin is prevalently done very well all over this figure. Kudos to X Plus for this sculpt and how well they did with it. Very, very nice sculpting of tree bark skin all over the body of GMK. Up here, even on the upper chest, nice sculpting of the skin. Very, very cool. His feet are very pronounced. This GMK, he has the biggest toenails in the gigantic line. They're very, very impressive and very immense in my opinion. Very foreboding, very menacing looking toenails and claw nails, really. His claw nails are the biggest in the line, I would say, easily. They're very foreboding and menacing looking. The toenails do not touch the ground. They do not touch level. They're kind of like a shin in that respect. And they are the bonish gray along with the tree bark skin of the skin color of GMK, which sets off the toenails and the claw nails. The toenails are, like I said, a bonish white in color, and at the base of the nail there's some black, darker colors coming out from the skin area, but they're nicely done and very, very well detailed. Up here on his hand claws, 4-fingered scheme on his hands, also very nicely detailed claws there. Very, very long and very menacing looking. He could tear up multiple enemies with these things with in a heartbeat, I would say. And they are also the bone white. And then at the base of each claw there, you can see where it comes from the skin. There's a darker color, almost a light black color there that emanates out from the skin as the nail grows out. But the toenails and the claw nails on the hands are very, very, very menacing looking on GMK, in my opinion. Very, 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 makes him even more scarier looking. Because to me, GMK and Shin are the most menacing, scariest looking Godzilla. Shin takes the cake, in my opinion, as far as scary, just scary looking Godzilla. But GMK is right there as far as the scare factor and just the pure evilness. GMK is probably on wearing that crown for the pure evilness, in my opinion. Of course, we've got the face, the signature alligator looking face and mouth area, really, especially the mouth and the jawline. It's very flat in the front and long down the sides. Kind of does look like a crocodile or really an alligator, not a crocodile. If you look at that, he really does favor, like the mouth and the jaw areas do favor a crocodile. Very nicely done. Nice sculpting of the face areas, the eyebrow ridge, nicely done. Nose nicely sculpted on there on the face. Cheek, bone texture and everything. Good job by X Plus yet again. The mouth inside is like a pinkish red in color. The tongue is individually sculpted on the bottom jaw. And the teeth are individually sculpted on both jaws, and then the front fangs, the big fangs in the front, mine have like a pinkish collar on them, like he's been eating something and they're blood stained. That's pretty cool. But you can see in my pictures, it really shows out on his teeth there, that pinkish color like blood stains. Pretty wild. But all the teeth are individually sculpted, nicely done by X Plus yet again. And of course the trademark of GMK are the eyes, the soulless, lifeless eyes. They are really light bluish silver in color, and they are very ominous and scary looking eyes, to say the least, in my opinion. The soulless, lifeless eyes of GMK. It just enhances the evil aspect of GMK. Also, the Train Biter 1954, which is right here, I call it the GMK 54 because it has the same aspect of eyes, really, to my opinion. It reminds me of GMK so much because this figure holds stylized aspects as well, and one of them is those lifeless eyes. And he just has some really cool stylizations, and I always call it the GMK Train Biter 54 because he's got those same soulless, lifeless, evil-looking eyes, like it's possessed. And that's pretty cool because the concept of GMK Godzilla is he is possessed by the souls of the soldiers that died in the war, and with his eyes in that condition, that makes you believe that's what's going on with GMK. He is a possessed, tortured soldier that's carrying out immense revenge on the world. That just makes sense to me. Nicely done figure here from X Plus. I would recommend this figure to anyone, especially if you like this movie in any length. Very nicely done figure. Alright, I'll bring up my other GMKs in the 30 centimeter line, and let's do that right now. Alright everybody, here they are. The original release 30 centimeter GMK. Honestly, still my favorite GMK that X Plus has done, believe it or not. I just feel that thing overall holds the attributes of GMK from the suit in the movie, the girth, the forward lean of the head and the body, like he was pretty much in the movie the whole time. It just captures it to me for some reason. I don't know why, but I love that GMK figure. And then you've got the favorite sculptors line. This is actually supposed to be 25 centimeter. I always call it a 30 because it's so big, but it's actually in the 25 centimeter line. It's just really big. And then the Yuji Sakai 30 centimeter GMK right there. But that's all four of my larger scale GMKs. I also have the D4 reel upstairs in my other room. I didn't bring it down, but I do have the RIC edition D4 reel where he's tramping on Baragon. These all represent GMK in their own way specifically, but to me the best two are the gigantic and the original 30 centimeter release right here. For some reason that one will always be affectionate to me, just for the way I look at it, and I always think, man, that looks like the movie, just the way that head's a forward lean and everything. And that's just where I'm at with ranking them. I would put the Sakai, if I ranked them all, I would do 1, 2, Sakai 3rd, FSL 4. That would, if I had to rank them, which I don't like ranking them because I love all these, but that's how I would do it if my arm was twisted, I guess. Alright, I'll move on to some final thoughts on the Gigantic Series GMK, and let's do that right now. Alright everybody, I'm back. Got old GMK here. He's an excellent figure. I don't think he's still openly available on the open market as far as like for flossies or awesome collector. You can check on those sites though, but I think they've pretty much sold out their gigantic stock, just about, I would think. I don't know what he goes for on eBay, especially this RIC edition. It's probably astronomical, I would guess. This is a really good figure though. It was well worth the money I spent, in my opinion. I think I spent like $400 on this, if I'm not mistaken. This was June of 2017. Mind you, I just started collecting X Plus in May. So this was probably in my first 15 to 20 figures at the most. Might even been in the top 10. Because I started collecting toward the end of May 2017. And I got this in June, so it's about 3 to 4 weeks into my collecting that I got this. But I was buying figures from May of 2017 until like the middle of 2018. About a year there, I was buying at a pretty rapid pace because I was kind of playing catch up for what I wanted. But this is a really awesome figure. It's nicely done. I love it. Stylized a bit, but that's in a good way, not a bad way. The pose is probably very, very awesome and unique. Like he's swinging around to attack the guardian monsters and give them hell, so to speak. It's a very nicely done figure. Highly recommend this figure to anyone that collects X Plus. I love this figure. Very nicely done. Can't say high enough remarks about it, and especially if you're a fan of this film and you enjoy this film, you would really enjoy adding this figure to your collection if you do collect X Plus and you can afford yourself the time to pick it up. I know he does pop up in the X Plus group from time to time on sale, I do believe. I don't know about the RIC though. It might be the standard. The standard's just the standard colored dorsal plates and none of the extra here, I don't think. I don't even know if the standard, what kind of tail stand it comes with, to be honest. But this is a very good figure, folks. I would highly recommend it to anyone that likes this look and design of this figure, or the movie in particular as well. Very nicely done figure. Once again, I want to thank Matt Parmalee from the X Plus group. He's a local guy I know, for selling me this figure and the other figures I bought from him. If you ever see him selling anything in the X Plus group, I would say once again, buy with confidence. He's an excellent dude and an excellent seller. Alright everyone, I'll bring the camera closer for a close-up of this gigantic, beautiful, gigantic figure. I want to thank everyone for their time and attention that pays attention to my channel and supports my channel. If you have any comments, you can comment below or give the video a like. This is Phil, the Kaiju King, from my collection room here in Greater Cincinnati, and me, gigantic X Plus GMK RIC Edition. We both wish you all a very fun-filled, kaiju-filled, blessed day. We'll talk to you again later.